Greetings everyone. In this video, it's going to be another Source Series video, and I'm going to be talking about the soulless ones and the cloned bodies.
Greetings. This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
All right, the cloned bodies that are connected to the matrix hookup. The cloned bodies must be attached to the matrix hookup to be charged by our energies within the secondary matrix. Now, the hookup is simply a life support system, but they really don't have any life, so it's more like an energy system to keep those clone bodies from decay and deteriorating until they are needed for harvest and sale or use for different parts or products from them. Now, those cloned bodies, there are scripts running in this game interacting with source players to energize and feed energies to the soulless cloned bodies. Think of them simply as they have no brain, they have no sight, they have no mouths, they don't eat, they are just cloned bodies without consciousness, and they are plugged in the system to simply keep them from deteriorating and to make something within them that makes the product good, like in aged wine. The bodies have to be connected to the matrix system for them not to deteriorate and for them to become something that is worth harvesting in the physical plane. Now, can one script here of a soulless person have more than one cloned body attached to it in its scripted lifetime here in this secondary matrix? Yes, it can. Because that body, that cloned body, soulless body, is simply hooked up to the system to be charged and, I'll say, aged to have a better product, then if there is a need for that product and they have a new body to place in its position, they will unplug the one cloned body and put another one in its place. However, the energy is coming from a script within this game. So, for better comprehensions, let's just say that all soulless ones are simply scripts that are being run. They have no consciousness. And the scripts are there as a plug-in and a hookup to mature and age a cloned body. When that body reaches the point that they desire to disconnect it and they have a replacement to put onto that connection, then they will unplug the old cloned body and they will replace it with a new one. The soulless one's scripts within this matrix illusion are simply scripts. They're programs responding to you, as if you are on a computer game and you are playing a game and there are characters, non-character players, that are interacting with you in that computer game, but they have no substance behind them. They are simply programming programs that are there. So if you are thinking that non-character players in this game, if you think that there is an actual person behind that character that's hooked up, that's permanent, just like you have a cloned body that's hooked up, but you have consciousness and The soulless ones have no consciousness. They're switched out. They're switched out, and the connection is simply for the maturing, aging, and making those bodies more desirable. The point here is those cloned bodies could not live without them being hooked up to this secondary matrix. And there's simply a character, a non-character player in the secondary matrix for every clone body that is hooked up to this game. Now, animals, the cattle, the cats, the dogs, your pets, they have no body. There is no body for them in the primary matrix. Those are all programming within the secondary matrix that you're experiencing. Animals do not have souls, and yes, I said that. Animals do not have souls because they are not source players. They can never be source players because source players need to have all their facilities and abilities to make decisions and interact in this game as a human. As a human. A source player never comes in as an animal. Never. However, everything in this game is you. It's your energies. It is source. Nothing can exist outside of source. Now, you having a soul cage as a source player means that you have a synergy cell and you are empowering and you are powering your game in this secondary matrix, and you are powering all the soulless cloned bodies that through all source players' consents have been conceived because they can only be created through orgasm. You see, when you have an orgasm, you've given consent. You've given consent to have a duplicate made of you now. Previously, it would have been eggs and sperm removed from your bodies. Now it works a little different since the only thing that can be taken from your body now is blood. And whenever blood is removed from your body, then you have to be fed. Otherwise, those cloned bodies, your bodies in the primary matrix, are self-sufficient. They would never age. They would never decay. They don't need food. They don't need anything. Unless you're doing something in the secondary matrix that gives consent for them to draw blood from your primary body, and then you have to be fed. And when you're fed, you are fed your cloned bodies back to you. I went through this in an earlier video. Go back and watch it. Now, consent, your actions. Your actions give consent to certain things, even whether you realize it or not. Your actions will have a large effect on your frequency plane that you reach as well as that you can remain on, because your actions, whether they're higher frequency actions or lower frequency, are going to determine where your different frequency bodies will be, and if they split, they all have to advance together, but they can fall separately. And when you fall separately, well, you lose your empowerment because you're not all together. You're scattered. Now, soulless programs are just that. It is the matrix operating the soulless programs to respond to you in ways that have been programmed. It's been scripted. And when you stepped out of script, then there's alternative programming that responds to your change that you have created, your ad lib in your script. There is so much to all of this. Now, just because they're not source players or just because it's programming, does that mean that you can treat anyone in this game in any way you want? Well, you always have the freedom of choice, and you can treat anyone any way you want. But your frequency will not rise if you treat people badly. How you respond, how you react, how you deal with people around you and how you interact has a huge effect on your synergy cell level and your game experience and your frequency level in this game. There is no right, there is no wrong. Choices. Are they beneficial for you and what you want to achieve in this game? Do you want to get your soul cage unlocked? Do you want to unlock your script? Do you want to raise your frequency to the highest levels? What do you want to accomplish? If you're satisfied staying in the red zone, then so be it. Your responses, your choices will definitely keep you there. Now, if you're in the red zone yourself and you're a source player, you are the same as a soulless being yourself. You have no connection to your source self. You are not in your synergy cell energy area. You are not on the 5th plane or higher. And as long as you are not there, then you do not have empowerment in this game. And I think that's enough said about this topic. I have talked about this in previous videos, and you would do well to go back and review those videos from almost the very beginning of the channel. And you need to ask your source self if it would benefit you. But if you're in the red zone, well, you have no source connection. Now, if you find the information that I'm sharing beneficial, then it benefits you to say thank you with a gift via PayPal. The link is in the description box below. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you.